Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. All right, we sound good. Buckle up. Today's video, I was inspired by this book, What's Wrong with Millennials. It's actually my homie Kevin Klitz wrote it. And we're going to have some fun today, okay? We're also going to find out what's right with us, but we're going to have a good time. This first one goes, why do millennials complain all the time? Because, I don't know, man. We watched 2,000 people die on live TV when we were 10, and then literally nothing ever got better. I don't want to say nothing got better, but that's pretty accurate. Nestor, before we continue, can you look up how did America change after 9/11? Get back to me on that.
Look, a once-in-a-generation economic crisis. Oh, look, another once-in-a-generation economic crisis. We hope you're not sick of once-in-a-generation economic crises. Oh, dog, we heard you like once-in-a-generation economic crises, so we got you another crisis to go on top of the other crisis that we gave you along with the other crises.
Yo, I feel like...
I think that is a big part of it, though, where it's like something just seems to always happen. And maybe that's always been. I mean, if you rewind the clock, I mean, could you imagine, like, Vietnam? Could you imagine just being like 19 years old and it's like, hey, you're going. Here's a gun, dude. You're going. You have no choice. And then if you wanted to have a choice, you got to go to another country and lay low for a while. You got to literally go hide out. I mean, if you really think about it, maybe shit's always been going down, but it does seem a little extreme the way that guy just said it. I mean, 9/11. The recession, COVID. That's just to name a few. Not to mention the fucking internet. What do we got? We got any major, like, big changes that you got on there? Any bullet points?
Well, the big one I just see right now is apparently the creation of ICE was formed right after 9/11.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then just typical heightened security measures, shifts in foreign policy. But a positive is a lot of you guys were bonded by sadness and patriotism after this.
Trauma bonding. Get on in here, brother. I just think it's kind of crazy, just a little. You know what? I do notice a lot of people. You ever hear that? Stay safe. You know, like a lot of people kind of live in this stay safe thing. But the truth is, something positive that I want to bring up. I've never once in my 35 years living here, I ain't never walked out my doorstep and just bombs going off. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen war, like, on our soil. Like, I've never personally seen it. You know? Like, does that make sense? Like, I've only really seen it on TV. Bum, bum, bum. Anyways.
My generation doesn't think enough about the fact that we were the first generation of people to get social media ever. And, like, if you look at a graph with us and technology, it's a linear graph like this.
Millennials saw the invention of the internet, the invention of the smartphone, the invention of the iPhone, the invention of social media, the invention now of artificial intelligence. Give them a break.
This one goes, got denied from a cashier job at a zoo. I just thought that one was funny. But right here in the book, there's a lot of this stuff that, like, I can't bring up. But right here, chapter 1, transgenderism. That's chapter 1 in this book. He's gnarly, dude. He's got the same sick sense of humor I have. But I thought a big one, though, was right here. The, where is it? Oh, attention span. That was a big one that I marked this. Wait, he's got some fucked up chapters in here. Drugs and alcohol. Why millennials love using recreational substances. I don't know. I think it has to do with the trauma bonding. I don't know why. I was looking for something funny in there, but I forgot to mark it down. But he's got some good ones in there. Transgenderism. That's another one, too. It's like how far... And no hate. I really don't care. I'm just trying to add it to the list of things that are, like, used to be weird, but now is normal. And I think that's just how it is. Getting denied from a job at the zoo as a cashier, a little strange. Oh, and he goes, and I have a master's degree. That's awesome. Anyways.
It's never been more obvious to me that people don't understand millennial culture than when they're talking about how we survived the 2008 recession. We were in our 20s. And 20s back then was very different from 20s now. First of all, we were already on our own health insurance. We got kicked off our parents' health insurance when we went to college. We're paying for our rent and we were paying for our own health insurance. But what we did not buy, we didn't have hair growth serum. We didn't buy Botox. There was no Botox. We also were used to being broke. Like, we made $12 an hour out of college. Like, we didn't, that was what we got paid. Like, I don't know, it was like, that was the starting salary. So that's what you made. If you were really, had like a really cool job, like my roommate, you made $75,000 a year. If you were just like a normal person, you made 40. So we were poor. And
that's what I wanted to bring up. The drugs and alcohol chapter. I put that under fun. Something that we really prioritize, something that I think we got right. Because I won't get all negative here. Let's bring up some positive stuff, right? One was I wanted roommates. Like, we wanted to have fun every weekend. Not just every weekend. We wanted to have fun when we came home from said job. Literally. Like, there was no, even during the Great Recession and blowing up buildings, we were still like, yo, are we still doing that house thing on Friday? He goes, you see the news? Yeah, dude. Buildings blowing up. He goes, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm going to tell everybody. Yeah, we'll be there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Sarah's going to be there? Oh, shit. That was something that I want to bring up where we got right. That's what I think. And we also embraced the internet in like a positive way. Like Gen Z's kind of coming after us. And hopefully they really embrace it and go full throttle with it. With like making money, careers, the whole nine. Just something I kind of wanted to bring up. Something that I think we did right. We still wanted to have fun, even when things were shitty. That's kind of something I think people are still doing that. I don't want to say they're not doing that. But it's almost like it doesn't seem that way anymore. I don't know. Am I tripping, Nestor? Or like,
That makes sense.
I mean, you're 28.
Yeah.
And would you say, even when you're 20s though, early, you're still in your 20s, but in your early 20s, you guys probably still prioritized fun.
Yeah, but if you just observed how like my generation dealt with COVID compared to like how you guys dealt with 9/11, we really changed from that.
Yeah, but not to mention, okay, Gen Z is a totally different story. They're like, a lot of them graduated high school and college on a computer screen, walking down the aisle on a phone, right? Parents are like leaving in the chat. It's like, yo, all the parents in the chat. Hey, all the parents in the fucking live stream, dog. That's my mom's at right there.
Yeah.
So I could see that, but like, remember the millennial generation, honestly, if any it's got to be absurd. It's got to be so bizarre to be 65 and go through all of this.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be so trippy, dude. What a life. Anyways, back to this. Yeah.
we were just poor. We didn't buy designer clothes. We barely had the internet, okay? We barely had the internet.
Botox, dude. One thing I will say, though, like, I moved out for the first time in 2009, and I had 2 roommates, and our rent was $500 each for a 3-bedroom house with a backyard and a fucking garage, dude. We had house parties every weekend. Even if we didn't want to, we'd show up on a Friday night from somebody else's house party, and there'd be like 20 people in our driveway. Like, oh, I thought there was a party tonight, and I guess there is. Come on in. That was real. I didn't even go to college. We made our own fraternity. We could party for much cheaper. But right here, in 2008, rent was around $842. That's something I want to say that is true. Like, I could have lived on my own, but I would have rather, have the roommates and had the little extra money. Yep. But that's something I want to say that's changed drastically, is at least back then, for millennials, something that was a positive, was we were able to go pull that off. Like, there were people living by themselves. Plenty of them. One chick I knew, she worked at Chili's. Had her own apartment. She was 20. Fucking Chili's, dude. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm glad I got to experience, because nowadays I feel like, especially your age, Nestor, it's just not. It's even if you want to round up some roommates together, it's still like Jesus Christ. Anyways, just bringing that up. I made this a while ago. I forgot all this stuff. Okay, boomers be like, "There's no housing problem. You youngsters just want a big house. Get a small cottage like I did when I was 21. This small cottage in Tennessee, dude, $1 million for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot." But what I'm trying to say is I had a 3-bedroom in 2009 with 2 homies. It was $1,200 a month plus utilities. All that came out to $500 each. And we were full-blown like stoners, just partying every weekend, and we could still afford that. Back in the good days when you could be a drug addict and afford a house.
You want to know why it seems like millennials and Gen Z are just the most depressed generations ever? It's because we are. But there's a real reason for that. Millennials and Gen Z are honestly the first 2 generations to see the bullshit for what it was. And not only that, we're the first 2 generations to actually speak out against the bullshit. Like me, for example. I'm a millennial. I'm a younger millennial. I was born in 1991, which essentially is just 6 years before Gen Z. We were the generation that were told by our Gen X and Boomer parents that if you go to college, get a degree, you graduate, you get a good job, that's all you got to do, right? So
to be fair, a lot of millennials, though, to be fair, a lot of my peers, I didn't go to college. I knew it wasn't for me. I did. I went for 3 months. And I was like, I've learned enough here. I did a presentation on what I was going to do for a career, and I realized I was going to work for myself. And that was the moment I called my mom. I said, "Hey, get your money back." It was community college. It was like $6,000 or something. She was like, "Okay." But something I want to argue, though, something that millennials did get to experience, was a lot of us did get a degree, and we did get the job that paid for everything. To be fair on that. So, Nestor, I apologize to you and the younger cats, but, I mean, it's not our faults, but I'm just saying, to combat that, a lot of us did have the opportunity to have $700 rent and a college degree that worked. To be fair.
we said, all right, cool. We went to college. We got our degrees and we started to graduate in the late 2000s and early 2010s. And those degrees didn't mean a damn thing. As a result, we looked.
They did. They did back then. He's tripping. They absolutely did. Now, I would argue that they don't. But back then, they most certainly did hold weight, for sure. Maybe not like an arts degree. Even arts degrees. I know a chick. She literally works at a fucking museum from an arts degree. Even those worked. I'm not kidding. Graphic designers got out of school in 2012 and got jobs. I know these people. I really do. I'm not kidding. I went to an art school. That's why I know about this stuff.
That our Boomer and Gen X parents like, why the fuck did you lie to us like that? It's not their fault. They technically didn't lie to us because the reality of when they were growing up, yes, degrees actually mattered. In fact, a lot of our parents got turned down for jobs because they didn't have degrees. They just didn't know that the world would change right as they were telling us that. Bro, we are really the transitional guinea pig generation. Like when I was born, VHS and cassette tapes were popular. But when I graduated college,
Shit, I still rock VHS tapes. I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles last night on VHS. I'm not even kidding. Phenomenal film.
We had already started to transition into fully digital media libraries. Literally everything ended and began with my generation. Millennials grew up with so many promises that we all thought we were going to be straight if we just followed the formula. That was never the case, bro. So now, here we are in our early 30s, mid 30s, late, some of us even in our early 40s now, still on own homes, still in apartments, still kind of just winging it in life. And even crazier is the fact that the government still sees millennials as children, not realizing that the oldest millennial is in their fucking 40s, bro. We're depressed because we're in a stagnant state. You know what I'm saying? We have not been able to grow. Most millennials' lives honestly have not changed over the last 10 years. You might make a little more money than you did back in 2014, but your living circumstances and all that kind of shit, most likely, it ain't really changed much. Still living in an apartment. You either got the credit score for a house, but you don't got the income, or you got the income, but you don't got the credit. And then with the interest rates being so crazy, it's honestly cheaper to rent a house than it is to buy one. Not to mention that millennials.
I actually said this about the interest rates in a last video we did where I said an interest rate of 18% was better on a $100,000 home than 6% on a $500,000 home. Now, I didn't really go in too deep on that, but like a 3% on a $500,000 home, we could still probably pull that off. But that wasn't really the whole point of the video. The point of the video is even if the interest rate seems lower nowadays, it's criminal. Or what does that one guy say? Diabolical. Diabolical.
Millennials and Gen Z are the generations that just been bombarded with information for our entire lives. Like, yes, awareness is good, but listen, man, too much of anything is a bad thing. And too much awareness definitely takes a toll on your mental health, man. Like everyday war, genocide, famine, gas prices, interest rates.
That's probably why, Nestor, that's probably why I even feel this way too, but especially younger people. It's like, you guys know so much more that, like, when I was 21, I was always the guy that was like, it's all bullshit, man. I'm going to be doing some weird, odd stuff for a living, you know, and everyone else was kind of doing the normal, practical route, which was still available. It was. But you guys are all aware of this.
Yeah. From the start, yeah.
So it makes sense. And another positive thing is the internet's here, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere. So I think the more people that, like, this is an opportunity that, like, I wish I had younger. Like, I guess it was kind of there, but now it's really there. But even as an older person, I'm all in. I'm like, fuck it. Like, this is the new shit. So that is one thing to be, I'd say, kind of happy about, is that you can make money online from your house. I'm not saying it's going to be the easiest thing in the world, but that's an opportunity that used to never exist. So that's pretty cool. Gay.
Job market. We know too much. It's overwhelming. Everything's expensive now. When I was in college, I used to go to McDonald's and get a McDouble.
All right, this guy's going on way too long. We're going to have to skip this dude.
McDoubles.
Yeah, Jesus. We're going to McDoubles, man. I'll give that shit up. All right, Millennials and Gen Z are tired from the woman eating Cool Whip.
We even put Gen Z in this one. You want to know why we're tired, why we're burnt out? Because we're working 40 to 50 hours a week and have nothing to show for it. And no, it's not because we're paying $25 gym memberships a month, and it's not because we're getting $7 coffees a day. It's because inflation is up 25%. Rent prices.
I would argue from 10 years ago, everything is doubled. Look up that. Put up from 2015 to 2025, what's the inflation rate from 2015 to 2025? I would say it's 100%. Honestly. Like, if rent was 1,000, it's double. It's 100%. I would argue 25%, yeah, maybe from last year. But I would say from 10 years ago till today, it's been like 30 years of inflation in fucking 5 years.
It says approximately 35.63%.
That's bullshit.
But that's got to be for certain. That's just an average accumulation, but
I'm calling horse shit on that. I'm calling horse shit.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying it's been 100% since 10 years ago. That's honestly. You guys tell me if I'm true.
You notice I've been complaining to you about how expensive groceries are.
Yeah, Nestor. I don't want to air out Nestor's business, but he's lived on his own before, but he just like moved in by himself with like no roommates. Oh, I don't have a camera on him right now, but yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal, dude. It's toaster strudel brutal. It's doable though. The only thing is like me and Nestor. We on like day 10 in a row. We've just been working every day. I'm going on vacation, so we're putting in the overtime. But like for a long time, for like 6 months, I had Nestor working every day. I was working every day with him, but like that was the only way though that you can like she's right. 40, 50 hours a week. We're like fucking every day. You know, I want to be comfortable. You know, I don't want to just have to eat Cool Whip out of a can. You know what I mean? I like the finer things in life.
Are up 40%. Okay.
And I'm not saying it's cool, guys. I'm just saying I've accepted that.
Yeah.
And I'm moving forward. I put on the leather jacket. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is.
Okay. We can't save money because we have to spend literally every dime of every single paycheck just to live, just to survive. And the sad part is you have millennials with degrees, Gen X with degrees, that are still living with roommates, that are still living with their parents, that are making $70,000, $80,000 a year.
Okay, let's go right here. After surveying 1,000 parents in the U.S., parents of U.S. adult children, a report conducted by Savings.com that parents were doling out an average of $1,400 a month and about $1,800 a month for Gen Zers, $900 a month for millennials every 30 days. What is what this is a recurrent allowance going to, like, it's an allowance basically. But one thing I will say is maybe like generational living, you know, kind of forced into it. But I don't think this is like, maybe we strayed off too far with everybody being just totally independent. And I don't know if I can listen to her bitch anymore about the roommates and stuff. Let me go. What do I have at the end here? I think we've come to the bottom of it. Let's see. In 1995, the average credit card debt was around $987. This was a part of a large trend of increasing debt, with the average household debt being around $8,000. While credit card debt represented a small fraction of overall debt load, hold on, why did I put this in here? See, this is the problem. In 2003, the average American credit card debt was $6,000. So it's up. It used to only be $1,000. Now it's $6,000. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think everything's fucked, and we know this, but I don't think it is at the same time. Like, it's fucking not. Like, it's, I think there's a lot of things that we know that's cool. Like, the fact that everybody knows that the old way doesn't work and it's all bullshit, I think that's kind of liberating, in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, it's kind of freeing. You know, the fact that I could, you know, wear a funny jacket, hop on the internet, and pay my bills, I think that's pretty freeing. And I don't think nothing's different from the fact that you have to put in a lot of time and energy to get to that point where you can make a career for yourself, whatever that means in the future. But I think the opportunities we have are better in a sense. I mean, maybe not better. I don't know. I don't want to seem so negative because I think there's a lot of positives with millennials and younger knowing what we know. That's just how I feel. I feel like we have opportunities, but it's up to us to go like, okay, the old way doesn't work, so let's go this new direction. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. But let's end on a funny note. This one was funny. Gen Z discovered a new trend here. I thought this was pretty good.
You'll never guess what Gen Z has discovered.
What's that?
Gen Z coffee lovers discover new way to combat insane Java prices with new home cafe trend. The home cafe.
They're just making coffee at home?
They've discovered making coffee at home. I'm proud of them.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Wait till they discover the stove. At-home restaurant whenever you want it.
I just thought that was funny. Anyways, you guys leave what's right with millennials and Gen Z. What's something you think's right with your generation? One thing, if you had to pick it.
I guess calling out bullcrap.
Yeah, not afraid to call bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Well, that's good because a lot of my peers, we weren't afraid to call bullshit in private.
Yeah.
When we were smoking weed. But we would go, everybody went against that grain. They still went. I think something positive with a lot of millennials is we realized it and we stopped playing along with stuff that's not working.
True.
But I think that's especially with the younger people coming up. They're not just talking about it, they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think there's some positives. I think there's going to be big changes ahead. And, living, food, prices of everything. Unfortunately, you just have to make more money. I think that's the only solution. And have no bills. And live with your parents forever. So, anyways, hell of a talk. Unreal. Getting the fuck out of here. Whew, good stuff.